I'd like to call David Pearson up to explain a little bit better on this tax rate, because I think it's some people confused on it, and I want to just make sure everybody understands.
Okay. I'll be glad to answer any of those questions about the certified tax rate. The certified tax rate is set by the State Board of Equalization every reappraisal. For us, it's every 5 years. And how it's arrived at, you take our new total assessed value for 21, which increased from 2016. That assessed value is based upon what property is sold for in 2020. Then the personal property is added to that. That gives you a total local assessed property value. Any kind of new construction that occurred that wasn't on the tax roll for 2020, that's subtracted out. That's like new houses, new businesses, pickups and garages or swimming pools and stuff like that. Any new personal property is added. Taken away. You then get to what's called the total locally assessed tax base. You take this number, which for us was 1,171,235, 1,171,235,280. We have public utility tax money that comes in through OSAP. That is estimated to be 143 million, and that's also done by the state of Tennessee. You take last year's prior tax levy, and the tax levy is what was billed by the county, not what was collected, because there's usually a 67% difference in that. So they take the total tax levy from last year, divide it with what the new, take the total tax base to this year, after making those adjustments, take last year's tax levy, and that's how you come up with the new tax rate, or the certified tax rate. And it's a system where ever since I've been working doing reappraisals, every time we have a reappraisal, it's not an index. It's not where everybody changes the same. It's not like a 15, okay, everybody goes up 15% or everybody goes up 25. That's called an index. We had one of those in '92 when we were on a 6-year program. We switched to a 5-year reappraisal program for '96, and we've been on that 5-year program ever since. How it works out, most everybody's property taxes, actual property taxes, are going to stay roughly the same. There will be very few people that have the exact same tax bill as they did last. If you were in an area of the county that changed a lot from the last reappraisal, where values increased a lot, well then your actual tax bill may be going up. If you were in part of the county where it didn't show from the sales that there needed to be an increase as much, then your actual tax bill may be going down. It's not really, what this certified tax rate is, a tax neutral rate. It will bring in the same exact money that the county brought in the previous year. Then the county also will add that new pickup back into the revenue stream. But you have to take out the new pickup because it wasn't there in 2020. Overall, you'll have all these pluses and minuses where property taxes may have gone up or gone down for people. But when you get to the end of the 40,000 parcels, it will balance out to where it's exactly the same amount of money as the previous year. So that sort of explains the certified tax rate and a little bit of the reappraisal. What it is basically you'll see a shift of the tax burden from one area. We have many different types of properties in the county. You have residential, rural, greenbelt, commercial, different types of subdivisions. Well, in a certain area of the county, there may have been an instance where things sold for, say, $400,000. Most all the properties sold for that much. If we only had something close to that already on that particular subdivision, of course, they wouldn't have changed that much. If you had an area that really greatly increased, such as a certain type of farmland or certain type of home, then if they increased a whole lot based on sales, then their actual property taxes may be going up. But it can be looked at as a tax increase, if you want to look at it that way, but it's also a tax decrease. It works both ways. Overall, as far as the county is concerned, it's a tax neutral rate because it brings in the same amount of money as the previous year. During the appeals process, we probably talked to 1,500 or 2,000 people, property owners. I don't really know exactly, but that's also a part of the reappraisal. But what the assessor's office does is just set the property value or the market value as of January 1st of 2021. We come up with this new total base of the county, then the State Board of Equalization comes in and assists with the certified tax rate. But that's not all. I mean, if anybody has any questions, I'd be glad to answer any questions. It's something that happens every 5 years, and every reappraisal, a different section of the county may change in a different way than it did last time. We have a diverse county. We have several different areas in our county, and the way the markets have been this previous year has probably been one of the greatest real estate increases that I've seen. And we reflected that. We reflect the sales that happened in 2020. That's about all. That's sort of how it works. Does anybody have any questions or anything?
David, was there a lot of people that came to your office or went before the equalization board to have their reappraisal reconsidered?
Yes, we handled because COVID, we got some extra lines, and we talked to a lot of people. I'd stay till about 7:30 at night calling people back. But all of us in the office were answering the phones, trying to explain to people the situation. We also went out and looked at a lot of parcels to recheck on and stuff like that. But then the county board this year met for 2 weeks. Normally they'll meet for a week, but and that's the county board of equalization. But that's part of the process too. We'll still have from those hearings. There'll be other appeals that are pending as they go on to the next level, which is administrative law judge. We have several commercials appealing in that case, and it's our job to defend our appraisals in front of those judges. So that's what we'll do, and they can continue on up some more levels too. But we don't really know exactly how many people might be able to do that. But,
Thanks.
Is there any other questions? Commissioner Thacker?
Mr. Pearson, I'd like to ask a question.
Yeah.
Couple. From the way I understand it, back through the years, if somebody builds a house like this year, it's not caught up until next year. Is that right?
it's added, if you were to finish the house today, it wouldn't be put on until 2022. Now, there will be a proration of how many months that it was here. You would pay the portion that was here for 2021. After September 1st, there's no longer any proration. Anything that happens this year actually goes on the property record for next year. That goes with transfers and stuff like that too.
Now, the other question I had, during the budget process, I asked Mr. Kirkpatrick how many homes or out-of-state people involved. And of course, they can come in and buy property for a lot more money, or pay more for the property than we would naturally around here.
Yes, what that situation is, they became the market. In previous reappraisals, we would have discounted those type of sales, but when that is the major purchaser, then that becomes the market.
But you said there was about 70%.
Normally, in past years, it may have just been 10% or something, or 15. We've always had out-of-state buyers because they like our county. We've got a pretty good county, and it's a pretty good low-tax state from where most people come from. What we've seen this past time is just a migration that has occurred, not in just our county, but in other counties, and other parts of the region. Once they do that, it's also beneficial to the local people because they're the ones selling their property. It's a phenomenon that's happening throughout the country, really. What you have is a situation with trillions of dollars pumped into the economy by COVID relief, and people in these states that are lockdown type states, they're wanting to go to a place where more freedom, not necessarily regulated as much. So we have seen a lot of people move in. And because there's a low inventory of houses out there, low interest rate, and a high demand, that's going to cause prices to go up. And the counties that are doing the reappraisal this next year for 2022, they'll see even greater increase than we did if the trend continues. So, but all their reappraisal is based on, we reflect the sales. And the sales, however they're created, whatever that market is, that's what we reflect. And you're right, it was an influx, and it's still happening. So
I guess one question I had was, or thinking about was, where people move in an area and they buy, say, 150 acres of land, and they give like $400,000 for it, when 5 years ago it was sold for 150, say. Then, is it a 3-mile radius that it affects everybody, or 5 miles?
no, if it's rural land like that, it's done by graded land. There's 48 different types of graded land based on its location and type of soil. So those sales are analyzed and broken down into each type of land. Mountain land will sell for so much per acre. Cropland, bottomland sells for higher and more. And you have A, B, C, and D locations throughout the county. So when you analyze that and come up with a market value for each particular location and grade of land, then that's extrapolated down through the whole county. If you live in a B location, then you have this certain type of land, you're going to be appraised at similar other B locations or other C locations, but it's all based off sales. What we do is a mass appraisal and using a lot of statistics, but we do go out and take 9 months to go and review every parcel. And that's all part of the process.
Commissioner House, right?
I have one question, Dave. I know one kind of rural area, like 3 houses, is probably brought about $200,000 over the appraisal. The next 5 years, when the next one comes up, like you said, it kind of washes out, but how will that evaluate? You take consideration if the houses are similar, will that inflate everybody else's in that area?
Well, and the next reappraisal is 2026. Whatever happens in 2025, that'll be what's used to derive at the next reappraisal.
But you go off of like when that sale, you base that on the tax appraisal when it sells. obviously you changed that appraisal of that property, correct?
No, all appraisals won't change to the next reappraisal unless they build a new garage or a swimming pool or a new house or something.
Let's say you got tax appraisal of $250 on the house, and it brings $450. So does the tax appraisal stay like that
It'll be $250 until they
until
build
the
a
new
new,
reappraisal?
until they build a new garage or something. And then whatever happens in 2025,
Yep.
that's, whatever is selling then, that will determine
The
2026.
selling fee price doesn't, you look at it in 25.
Just the year
reappraise it in
before the
26.
reappraisal.
Yep.
Anything that happens between, now, you say something important there because every 2 years, the state of Tennessee Division of Property Assessment, they'll do a sales ratio study.
And it's mandated, isn't it?
It's mandated every 2 years, and they base, say, okay, we're low on those parcels now that you're talking about. Well, we'll have a ratio of like 85% or 82. Whatever our ratio ends up being, that's bounced off the personal property schedules of the businesses. So that's where there'll be a reduction in the personal property revenue stream.
When you brought that up, okay, let's say, we hope we don't lose any big businesses, but all the personal property, if we lose a big hit there, is it in that area, is that where it takes the hit, you have to adjust it on the personal property?
You know, that sales ratio, it's used to determine the new personal property. Now, one thing about that, since we have a reappraisal, all personal property is brought back up to 100% this year. So anytime we have a reappraisal, everything is brought back to 1 or 100%. Statistically, that can mean you can have a bunch of 89, 90, 95%, and over on the other side, some 101, 110, 115. When you run the stats, you end up at 1. That sales ratio does end up being important in later years. But there is no reappraisal between reappraisals.
It was the 1 year and then.
Yeah, only if you build something new or something is destroyed and change. Or for some clerical mistake that was found, either way. Because it can go either way on stuff. We key a whole lot of stuff.
Thank you.
Commissioner Harrell.
Thank you, David.
All right.
I just wanna make sure everybody understands, we're going from $2.53 to $2.16 on this resolution, so.
19 yes, 2 no.
Motion carries.